Don't be surprised if I say you may receive a notice from the Income Tax Department even if you have successfully filed your returns before the due date. Yes, it is possible. In this video, I will show you the reasons for which the income tax officials may issue a notice to you. Hello and welcome, I am Prarthana from Clear. We have assisted more than 80,000 tax experts and 6 million tax filers. Do subscribe to support us and get a clear explanation of taxation and financial concepts. So let us start with the apparent cause of receiving a notice from the Income Tax Department. Filing income tax returns where the individual has taxable income is mandatory. Failing to do so, a notice under Section 142(1) under the Income Tax Act may be issued requiring you to furnish the return within the mentioned date. If the notice is not responded to, then the department will levy a penalty of ₹10,000 or your case may fall under best judgment assessment under Section 144, where the assessment will be carried out as per the best judgment of the assessing officer on the basis of all relevant material gathered by him. You may also be prosecuted for a period of not less than 3 months to 7 years with a fine depending upon your case. To avoid getting notice, you must file ITR before the deadline for filing ITR for a particular assessment year. While filing ITR, the TDS should ideally have to be the same in Form 26AS and Form 16 or 16A. However, there can be several reasons why some details may mismatch. You can compare your ITR computations with the computation of the Income Tax Department from the intimation issued under Section 143(1) of the Income Tax Act. As a precaution, before filing the income tax return, one could check the TDS reported in Form 26AS and ensure that the TDS is correctly reported by various deductors and then proceed to file the return of income. If in the case of a mismatch, you need to approach the respective deductor to update the TDS statement and thereafter rectify your returns. Income tax authorities obtain information about your income from the different sources like banks, employers, tenants, mutual exchange of information between countries, crypto exchanges, etc. If you have not shown some income in your ITR, then you may get a notice from the Income Tax Department if they detect the non-reportage and for which it is necessary to submit response. To avoid getting such notice, you must collect all your financial statements and list out the income sources from which you received income and then file your ITR. You can check your annual information statement or AIS and Form 26AS and ensure that all incomes reflected therein are disclosed in your income tax return. If any information is found to be incorrect in AIS, you should submit feedback for said AIS information. As per the income tax law, if an asset is acquired in the name of the spouse through the income of the taxpayer, the income arising out of such asset, if any, needs to be clubbed in the hands of the taxpayer. At times, it may happen that you would have made investments in the name of your spouse but have not shown the income from those investments in your return. Generally, the revenue authorities could obtain such information through various sources like banks, registrar offices, and etc. and hence would issue a notice under Section 143(2) of the Income Tax Act for detailed audit or scrutiny of the tax return filed, and income generated through investment in the name of a spouse could be questioned by authorities during the assessment proceedings. This could be considered as tax evasion resulting in the addition of the income along with interest and penalty. You may receive a notice if you have done high value transactions. For instance, if you made large transactions through your credit card, made huge financial investments, or bought a property in a particular year, etc. The department can ask you to mention the source of funds for making such high-value transactions and reply stating valid reasons or file an income tax return within specified days. To avoid getting such notice, show every transaction that you have made in a financial year. Even if it is a loss, it has to be reported to the tax department to avoid receiving a notice. You may get such notice even if you have filed your return within the due date. But if all the information is already provided in your ITR, then you are safe. You may anytime come under the taxman's lens. The department can randomly scrutinize returns to enforce tax compliance. Therefore, if you receive any notice specifically under section 143(2), it means your return filed is under scrutiny by your assessing officer. The scrutiny can be related to mismatches or inaccurate reporting, return file and all related documents, or it can be based on predefined criteria issued every year by the Income Tax Department. Failing to respond to the notice, the department can impose a penalty of Rs 10,000. So if you are not able to reply, consult a professional chartered accountant and file a suitable reply before you get penalized. Basically, you can't avoid a random scrutiny notice, but all you can do is report all your income and other income taxable in your hands, pay full tax due, and in general be tax compliant. Keep documentary and other evidence as proof of whatever is claimed in your return so that you can use it in the case of scrutiny when asked to produce the same. If you do not file the income tax return in the correct form or miss to report any information or file an incomplete return, you will receive a defective return notice from the Income Tax Department. You get a defective return notice under section 139(9) of the Income Tax Act. Once received, you need to respond to it within 15 days from the date of receiving the notice. In a scenario like this, you may need to correct the defect by filing a revised ITR before the deadline ends. To avoid getting defective notice, check that you are correctly filing your return. I hope this video was helpful for you. For queries related to business or tax, you can contact our experts by clicking on the chat link provided in the description box below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more informative videos and stay tuned for more updates. Take care and goodbye.